kusangana zvekare kwatiri kuita mhuri yeZimbabwe pano pachivhitivhiti chedu patinoyataka kubatirai maupdates enyaya dzakasiyana-siyana dzinenge dziri kuitika mukati menyika yeZimbabwe. Kuuya zvekare kwatiri kuita nenyaya iri kunetsa mukati menyika yeZimbabwe, nhau yeCable 3 iyo iri kuvimbiswa kuti svondo rino ndiro svondo rakaipisisa ratichaona zvikukutu zvichiitika mukati menyika yeZimbabwe, apo constitution amendment bill number 3 ichipinzwa muparliament for debate. Saka ndo kuvimbiswa kutiri kuita panapa kuti mawani ari kuzotanga ipapa, zvinhu hazvisi kuzofamba mushe. Nekudaro ndisati ndapinda munhau yedu zvizere, ndoda kungogamuchirawo vose vatanga kusvika pachannel yedu mukati mezuva ranhasi, ndichiti ibvai mashandisa uno mukana kunge muchisubscribe kuitira kuti pese patinodzoka munge muchisangana nemaupdates. Saka chinyorwa chandinacho panapa chiri kuti icho: This week could become one of the most consequential moments in Zimbabwe's post-independence history. 46 years after independence, Parliament is set to debate Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, a proposal that would fundamentally reshape Zimbabwe's political system and alter the way power is exercised and transferred. Among its most controversial provisions in the proposal to extend President Emmerson Mnangagwa's term of office beyond 2028 to 2030, granting him an additional 2 years as president beyond the 10-year limit currently prescribed by the Constitution. The Constitution, as it stands, limits a president to 2 terms of 5 years each, a maximum of 10 years in office. This bill will put an end to VP Chiwenga's hopes of ever becoming president of Zimbabwe if it becomes law, because his political pathway will have been closed. The bill also seeks to increase the presidential term from 5 years to 7 years. Even more significantly, it proposes replacing the direct election of the president by the people with an indirect system in which the president would be elected by parliament. In enacted, Zimbabweans would no longer cast ballots directly for their head of state. Instead, members of parliament would now choose the president. The proposed amendments go further than that. They will expand the number of individuals entering parliament through presidential appointment rather than direct election, increasing presidential influence over key institutions of the state. This would further concentrate power in the executive and reduce democratic accountability. If this bill becomes law in its current form, the consequences could extend far beyond President Mnangagwa himself, with the ruling ZANU-PF party holding a dominant parliamentary majority and the opposition fragmented and weakened. The likelihood of meaningful resistance inside parliament appears limited and academic, short of a miracle. The mathematics of the proposal are straightforward. If the bill passes this year, ZANU-PF will be assured of the presidency for the next 18 years without fear of any meaningful opposition. If President Mnangagwa receives the additional 2 years, his tenure would extend to 2030. Under the proposed constitutional framework, a successor chosen in 2030 would serve a 7-year term until 2037. If re-elected for a second 7-year term by parliament, that president would remain in office until 2044. In practical terms, this means that from 2028 onwards, Zimbabwe will go for 60 years without a direct presidential election. The presidency would effectively be determined by parliament rather than by the electorate. Given the current political realities, this would significantly strengthen ZANU-PF's ability to remain control of the presidency for decades to come and also control the fiscus, which is the feeding through. This concern is heightened by the effects of constituency delimitation carried out before the 2023 elections. The distribution of constituencies, now disproportionately benefits ZANU-PF strongholds while reducing the electoral weight of opposition areas. The reality is that ZANU-PF currently enjoys a substantial parliament advantage. If parliament becomes the body that elects the president, that advantage becomes even more politically significant. The debate therefore goes beyond Emmerson Mnangagwa. It is about the future architecture of the Zimbabwean state. It is about whether power should continue to derive directly from the vote of ordinary citizens or whether it should be transferred to a parliamentary process dominated by political parties. For many Zimbabweans, this is not simply another constitutional amendment. It is a defining question about the future of democracy, accountability, and political competition in the country. Those who believe the bill will be stopped point to divisions within ZANU-PF itself, particularly opposition from elements aligned with Vice President General Constantino Chiwenga. Yet even if internal resistance succeeds in blocking the proposal, the context remains largely an internal ZANU-PF struggle rather than a challenge emerging from a strong opposition movement. The political debate is taking place almost entirely within the ruling establishment. That is why this week matters. The decisions taken in parliament will shape Zimbabwe's political landscape not merely for the next election cycle but for a generation. History often turns on moments that seem ordinary while they are unfolding. This may be one of those moments. If the amendments pass, Zimbabwe will enter a fundamentally different constitutional era. If they fail, it will represent one of the most significant setbacks to an attempt to restructure the country's political system since the adoption of the 2013 constitution. Whatever one's political views, this is a week that deserves the attention of every Zimbabwean. The choices made now may determine how political power is acquired, exercised, and transferred for many years to come. In a week when Zimbabwe's central hospitals do not have the most basic drugs, when roads are riddled with potholes, when unemployment remains estimated at well over 90% in the informal economy, when corruption and looting are rife, when many households go for days without running water, and when a dysfunctional government appears to be at war with itself, Parliament will be debating whether this record deserves an extension of power. Instead of debating how to fix the healthcare system, create jobs, restore public service, tackle corruption, or provide clean water, legislators will be debating whether the political leadership responsible for this state of affairs would be given more time in office through Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. The question before Parliament is simple. Does this record justify extending presidential tenure and changing the rules of the political game, or should they at least attempt to uphold the principle that Zimbabwe is a democracy and reject the bill? Any serious student of Zimbabwean political Any serious student of Zimbabwean politics understands the reality with the opposition weakened and largely ineffective. The prospect of stopping the bill through conventional parliamentary means appear slim. Short of a major political rupture within the ruling establishment or some form of intervention from forces opposed to the extension project, many Zimbabweans are now hoping against hope. This week may well determine whether Zimbabwe remains a country where citizens have a realistic opportunity to change their leadership through the ballot box, or whether the door closes even further on that possibility. The tragedy for Zimbabwe is that there is no convention opposition that is visibly strong enough to stop this bill. The traditional opposition has been weakened to such an extent that many Zimbabweans who have never been members of ZANU-PF now find themselves looking towards Vice President Constantino Chiwenga as the only figure within the system who might be capable of mounting any meaningful resistance. Yet even if he were the prevail in this internal struggle, it would not represent a fundamental change of direction. It would still be ZANU-PF, it would still be the same political system, the same party, and largely the same state architecture, only with a different face at the top. That is the real tragedy of Zimbabwean politics in 2026. The destruction of a credible and effective opposition has left many citizens with no alternative center of political power to rally behind. As a result, hopes that would ordinarily be invested in an opposition movement are now being placed in a faction of ZANU-PF itself. Zimbabweans are effectively watching an internal contest within the ruling party and hoping that one faction is strong enough to stop Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 from becoming law. That is how narrow the political space has become. It is heads you get ZANU-PF, tails you still get ZANU-PF. It is also important to note that the members of parliament who will be debating this bill have a direct personal incentive to support it. Under the proposed changes, they too stand to benefit from a 2-year extension of their own terms in office. In other words, they are not being asked to make a decision that affects only the president. They are being asked to vote on a measure that could also prolong their own stay in parliament. This creates an obvious conflict of interest. The very individuals tasked with deciding whether the extension is in the national interest are themselves among its beneficiaries. For many Zimbabweans, this raises a fundamental question about whether Parliament can impartially adjudicate a matter from which its members stand to gain politically and financially. Put simply, the bill does not merely extend the tenure of the president, it also extends the tenure of many of the politicians who will be voting on it. That sweetener cannot be ignored when analysis the politics surround Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. That is why it is important to understand why President Mnangagwa and his allies are opposed to subject the bill to a national referendum. For many citizens, they hope that this bill can be stopped increasingly resembles the words spoken by Emperor Haile Selassie and later immortalized by Bob Marley, a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained. Whether that pessimism improves justified remains to be seen, but the fact that millions of Zimbabweans are now pinning their hopes on a battle within ZANU-PF rather than on a democratic alternative tells its own story about the state of the nation. Ndo nawe yatinayo pana pamuri yeZimbabwe yatauya kuzoti tikuzivisei ndofunga mazvinzwira zvizere nyaya edu ichitsanangura in details kuti zvinhu zvakambonyatsa kumira seko this week and zviri kutarisirwa this week kuti zvichaitika mukati menyika yeZimbabwe. Nekudaro handisisina akawanda, ndinoti maita basa nekuona vhidhiyo redu ngatisanganei zvekare mumaawa anotevera tichizodzoka tichikupai zvekare dzimwe nyaya panapa. Thank you for watching.